Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is Zach Vinsky, current technical sales apprentice at Phoenix Contact. We are going to be presenting this today on behalf of Cochrane Supply, one of our trusted partners. And today we're going to be focusing on the mGuard product line and giving a product overview. For those of you that aren't as familiar with Phoenix Contact is an industrial components and electronics manufacturer that offers a wide range of products commonly found in industrial and distributed control systems applications. But today, as I mentioned already, we're going to be focusing on the FL mGuard product portfolio. So we're going to go over a kind of high level of the mGuard, focusing on various features and benefits to you, the customer. And then we're going to also dive into a little bit of setup on the secure cloud and common applications as well. So first and foremost, the mGuard was developed to provide network and security functions in an industrially rugged piece of hardware. This is a device that's meant to live in an industrial control cabinet where it's going to be exposed to a wide range of temperatures as well as things like shock and vibe. So it's UL listed, meets certain criteria for living in a control cabinet. This is also developed with the interoperability with existing IT network in mind. And then, of course, important with everybody is the ease of use of this product. We accomplish this through web-based management that has gone many different changes throughout the years and has become more and more user-friendly every single time. In addition to that, there's no special software needed when using this device and configuring it. Things like drop-in protection and push-button VPN are incorporated for ease of use for the customer. And then pre-configured secure firewall settings as well upon arrival for easy drop-in protection. The overall goals we want you to get out of this is to think of mGuard when you hear of these things: network integration, network security, and of course, remote connectivity. So we're going to start off talking about these three on a very high level, starting off with network security. And in this sense, we're talking about stateful firewall. The mGuard has the ability to function as drop-in protection where not many changes or any changes at all are needed to make to network configuration. We have settings such as the stealth firewall where this can function as a bump in the wire, blocking certain traffic from device to device. In addition to that, we have the network integration aspect where this functions as an industrially hardened router. This is used to segment traffic on large networks. It incorporates things such as NAT routing or network address translation routing. This is a specific type of routing that translates addresses, application scenarios where you might be using the same IP scheme on multiple different similar product lines or machine lines. This is where this is extremely helpful, and we're going to dig into this a little bit later on. And then last but not least, the remote connectivity is achieved through a virtual private network or VPN. This is again done through push button initiation, which means the end user, the person with this installed on the machine, ultimately has a say to start or stop the tunnel connection without technical know-how. It also can serve as a point-to-point or hub and spoke VPN applications, as well as Phoenix Contact's very own mGuard Secure Cloud. So jumping right in, I mentioned stealth mode a little bit earlier on. This is kind of an indivisible, undetectable mode where the mGuard is actually dropped in and acts as a bump in the wire. It's transparent to traffic. All it does is determine whether or not IP addresses, source and destination, meet certain criteria, and depending on the firewall rules that are set, it either accepts or drops traffic. We have auto configuration mode where it's basically just plug and protect, where it's fully compatible with all operating systems and there's no interference with systems to be protected. Its installation requires no IT security know-how, and it's meant to go into an existing network where that remains unchanged. Shown on the right is a picture taken from the most recently updated web-based management interface with the mGuard, showing where you can change from router to stealth, where router will be covered here soon. So here's a simple application for a stealth firewall. Maybe you have one device or multiple devices that you want to protect. Notice on the right hand side there is on the left of the two pictures just a single device at 192.168.1.1. This is the IP address of the single device that is protected in this scenario. Whereas on the right hand side there's a larger subnet consisting of three devices, all on the 192.168.1.x subnet. All three of these devices are protected in this case. So the application for this stealth mode is where, again, it's used to protect either a single or multiple devices or a whole subnet. This is drop-in configuration where nothing needs to be done on the customer side. The RS2000 is the more cost-effective option where it's either set to accept or drop all selections. And then there's the RS4000 where you have more play with the firewall rule set. It's always important to ask the question, could I benefit from this? Who actually uses this in the field? Why is it useful? And then we're talking about not just the stealth mode, but the firewall as a whole. So first and foremost, everybody should be taking measures to make sure that their control system is secure. Security concerns are not going to go away. There's things out there like Metasploit, Project Basecamp, and Shodan, and these essentially give people with less skills in the hacking side to compromise systems, pose as cyber threats, you name it. Things are out there now that's decreasing the level of skill that's needed to make drastic threats to industrial control. And in the past several years, it's become more and more popular, and it's proven that utilities and industries, these types of industries, have become popular targets for hackers. A couple references are Stuxnet and Trisis. The point is that these are going to continue to be attacked as long as there's interest and possibly even money to be made off of doing so. One of the main things is the compromising of data. This can be held hostage or ransom. Point being, it's going to continue to happen probably more and more often, and it's not going to go away. People need to take firewall and cybersecurity seriously as a whole. Where the mGuard plays and is positioned as part of a defense in depth approach. The mGuard plays as one part of many different measures that should be taken to protect your system. The firewall, in essence, is one way of protecting devices that should be protected in multiple different aspects. In addition to this, IPC users should be using this type of stuff as well, especially if it has connection to the internet. Phoenix Contact Value Line IPCs, industrial PC, is a perfect candidate for the PCI card that we offer, which we will explore later on. Then we have production lines that are connected to the IT office network. Segmentation comes into play here, but more importantly, it's a good idea to have a firewall in your system that prevents Joe from accounting, from logging onto a PLC and making changes. Probably not doing it on purpose, but things can happen on accident, and it's good practice to make sure that this isn't possible. Maybe you have someone that's not named Joe that wants to compromise the system because he just got laid off but still knows how to get into the network. You don't know, it could happen. In good practice, it's a good idea to implement firewalls where you can. It's not hard to do, and the mGuard makes it extremely easy. In addition to that, customers that have an IT that has bigger fish to fry, that are ignoring the needs of the plant floor, again, it just comes to a defense in depth approach. It's easy to implement, and it's something that can easily be taken advantage of. So in best practice, firewall is always a good option. So then we're going into network integration, the second of the three main functions of the mGuard. So this application is essentially using routing to insulate and isolate the control network from the IT network, or even other control networks. We're starting to see the need and the desire to have industrial control systems tied to maybe it's a SQL server for data logging, maybe it's IT network or corporate network to allow engineering department to make changes to a PLC or troubleshoot things from the comfort of their office. Either way, it's a good idea, and you're going to need to have a way to route traffic between different networks. This is used commonly by end customers and OEMs. It replaces commercial gears. And then there's things like IT or port forwarding, which allows the mGuard to get only one address from IT. Very convenient when you have an involved IT team. So here's a NAT routing application for those of you that are unfamiliar with network address translation. I'll pop this up real quick. NAT routing allows for equipment on the same network to use the same IP scheme. For instance, maybe you're an OEM or machine builder. You're busting out a lot of these different production cells day in, day out, multiples a year, and you have a customer that has, and talking about a customer that has multiple of these production cells with similar IP schemes causes issues if you were to try and plug all these up together. So notice that production cell 1, 2, and N have the identical address schemes inside, all being a 192.168.10.0 network. What would happen if you connect these in would create a broadcast storm and bring the whole network down. Not a good thing. So NATing is used in this case. The mGuard allows for identical production cells and identical machines. What do we mean by that? Well, you plug an mGuard in front as shown, and then you can NAT an entire subnet. So in this case, we have 10.10.1, the 1 being tied to production cell 1, the 2 on the second side to production cell 2, so forth to 10.10.n to production cell n. In this case, maybe you have on every single one of these production cells an HMI at .5, IPC at .10, a PLC at .15. So to get to the production cell HMI, production cell 1 HMI, what you NAT that to would be 10.10.1.5. Likewise, for the HMI and IP address on the production cell N would be 10.10.n.5, and so on and so forth. It really solves the complex issue of having these identical IP address schemes inside the machines, and allows for a lot of headaches being relieved. So very useful and very commonly used for OEMs and machine builders and OEMs alike. So who can benefit from routing and NATing? Well, we've already mentioned OEMs, end users, machine builders, and how this application plays into often comes into play. But realistically, customers with large control networks need to take advantage of routing at some point. With Industry 4.0 on the horizon, you're seeing more interconnectivity between between different production cells and industrial control systems, and maybe even the enterprise network. Segmenting traffic via routing is a good way not only to protect the network, it also makes administration and maintenance easier too. Then there's customers currently relying on IT and misapplied 19-inch rack equipment. Maybe they're running fiber back to the data center. Well, this gets expensive. And then you have the option of putting a climate-controlled IT island in the middle of the plant floor. This is expensive too, maybe even more so. What the mGuard does and how we position it, it's a cost-effective industrial solution for routing, NATing, and we've already mentioned security. And we'll soon be talking about the remote connectivity as well. But all in all, customers with identical lines of equipment, like we've already talked about, can take advantage of the NAT feature as well. We've got many different product lines or products to choose from in the mGuard portfolio. The RS2000-B is the most economic option if you're looking for something just with very basic firewall and to function as a router and NAT router with no VPN capability. So just to recap, there's the stealth mode, which acts as a bump in the wire, where all devices fit in the same network. It acts as a static auto detect mode to serve as one or multiple clients. Then there's the routing modes, which allows you to network different subnets together to allow devices on your control system to get out and communicate correctly. You've got the LAN that's always static, where you can set the WAN to be either static or DHCP or act as a modem. So now we need to focus and turn our attention towards the remote connectivity aspect of the mGuard. So the mGuard poses a VPN solution, which you're seeing more and more frequently. It's important to note that our mGuards support IPsec and OpenVPN. This is the most popular use for this product line. Nearly 2/3 or 66% of our units sold are actually the VPN variants. Whether or not all those people use it, not sure. They make the purchase though, and they are the VPN variants. So we are led to believe that this is the most popular use for the mGuard. We already talked about this a little bit. The push button initiation was included for ease of use, customer peace of mind, and customer control. The end user, the one that has this mGuard on their shop floor, has the ability to say, I want to control this. A lot of times you see this with a key that controls the contact. You go over with your master key, turn this key, the contact's closed, and the VPN tunnel can be established. Then we have cellular variants too. This is the 3G, which is going away, and the 4G options available. We again support point-to-point and hub-and-spoke applications for machine-to-machine communication, and then cloud application through the mGuard Secure Cloud for tech-to-machine, which we'll elaborate on. Who uses the VPN solution? Why is remote connectivity even necessary? Well, OEMs and machine builders need a way to provide efficient and economic support to their customers. We live in a world where customers are always right, and that's just the case. This is not just a way for someone to service a machine, but instead save money and provide a next level of support. Think about it in a way of, instead of having to get on a plane to go and service a machine, maybe you have a customer with a line down situation. Well, you better be getting your butt in there and making sure that things are running up as soon as possible. Because when you have a line down situation, customers losing money, and that's not a good thing. So with the VPN application, what you can do is have them turn the contact. Next thing you know, you can remote into their machine, make a couple adjustments, see what went wrong on the PLC, and then troubleshoot from your home office that hour. Even a few minutes later, if you're that on top of it. Then, of course, industries that utilize distributed control systems as well. This is big in water and wastewater, oil and gas, automation, and transportation as well. And it's important to note that we do have Class 1 Div 2 ratings for this, so the mGuard is well suited for applications even such as the process industry as well. And really any other customer that's looking to talk, support, read data to a remote location, especially comes into play with the 4G variants of the mGuard. So the mGuard has a lot of security features. It's got a lot of cool functionality built into it. And overall, the stateful firewall serves a great purpose. It's fantastic. But it's important to remember that it's not the only protection that this device offers. With deep packet inspection, firewall for Modbus OPC, in addition to that, there's service integrity monitoring as well. This adds kind of an additional cybersecurity layer against malware, where it monitors configuration files and makes sure that device or files that shouldn't be changing, like executables, aren't changing. If it notices changes on the files that you want it to monitor, then it'll flag it and you'll get a notification. As it is a passive defense layer, it's not an active. It's not gonna remove those files. It can just let you know that things have been changed where they're not supposed to be changed. And then something we haven't talked about yet is the user firewall. This is implemented for the handling of dynamic IP addresses from technicians. Maybe your technicians are tied in on a DHCP, and they're constantly logging in from different IP addresses. Well, you can set up firewall rules specifically for the IP address of their laptop, because things change every time they connect to the Wi-Fi. So every time they want to get on the network, they have to log onto the mGuard with their set of credentials, and based off of what the administrator of the device sets up on the system, those credentials will give them access to different devices or different, maybe different HMI or PLC or IPC on the system. It's also good for tying in local passwords to IT's Radius system. And then worth noting is the mGuard Device Manager, or as we call it, because as you'll find out, we love our acronyms. MDM. This is used mainly for rapid rollout and provides limitless scalability. This is typically geared more towards power users that have maybe 100 plus mGuards, maybe 50 plus. Anyways, it's great for managing all the devices in the field, as well as versions and functions. You can push and pull updates, do logging and things like that as well. It works off of a template-based deployment as well. It's a great feature for somebody that has a lot of mGuards and wants a simple way to manage them. There's a lot of functionality baked into the software. So now we've gone over the three main functions: the network integration, network security, and remote connection through VPN. We're going to continue talking about the products, the different form factors that we offer with the FL mGuard, the factory line machine guard. We have a wide variety, as you can see. This is actually not all the ones listed. We have industrial DIN rail mounted, which is the majority of the products we offer, as well as a gigabit option. As you can see there, a PCI and a USB option as well. And not pictured is a 19-inch rack mount version that we have. So jumping off with the RS4000 and RS2000, you'll see right away that this has 2 ports on the front of it. The 2000 and 4000 both have one wide area network, or WAN, and one local area network, or LAN. These are both the RJ45 ports for your typical Ethernet patch cable. We have UL 508 and UL Class 1 to 2 approval, as well as a operating temperature of -20 to 60 degrees Celsius. On the front of it, there's an SD RAM card for easy configuration and management and deployment. And then on the bottom, not pictured, is an integrated 9-position serial interface on the bottom. The contacts, or the connectors at the top, are utilized for multiple different things, including power supply. You can activate the remote contacts for activating VPN tunnels, and then firewall rule sets with the hard contacts as well. Then we have a couple complemental parts as well, such as RS2000-B. This is the basic one we discussed earlier. It's primarily just used for routing, and then has limited firewall included with that as well. Then the RS4000-M, M for maritime. This has marine standards that you'd expect, along with a conformally coded PCB board. And then RS4000-P for the process industry. It comes with process standards and a lot of the extra licenses that you can purchase for the mGuard, such as redundant VPN. So moving right along, we have the 4004 and the 2005. You'll notice that these two look different from the ones we just saw, and look different from each other. On the left, we have the 2005, the 5 standing for 5-port unmanaged switch on the local area network, and the 4004 being a 4-port limited managed switch on the local area network. The 2005 again has 1 WAN port, while the RS4004 has 1 WAN port and 1 DMZ port. The DMZ is demilitarized zone. For those of you that are more familiar with the Purdue model, it's a way of segmenting networks. You might be more familiar with this. Then we have the TC mGuard, RS4000 and RS2000. TC standing for telecommunications. These are going to be the 3G and 4G variants that we have. But please note, 3G is going away. Is actually no longer supported by, or I should say, no longer being activated by AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Instead, we're moving customers to the 4G variants. This is supported by Verizon and AT&T. And then the 2000 has an unmanaged 4-port switch, while the TC4000 still has the 4-port limited managed switch, as well as the DMZ and the WAN. Well, why does it have a WAN since it's supposed to connect to the internet wirelessly? Well, maybe you have that tied in. You have a hardwire, but in the case that physical layer fails for the WAN, you can have a redundant kind of failover to wireless. So to highlight a couple of key differences between the 2000 and the 4000 families. On the 2000 family, the firewall is more limited, kind of restricted to incoming and outgoing rules. You can see on the left hand side there, this is similar to the 4000 family. Again, taken from the web-based management of the mGuard itself. You can define rules based off of the interface it's coming to or going from. So this in this case would be the external or the WAN. You can separate this out by protocol. You can separate it from IP or source IP, and then to IP as well, and then the port as well. And then for the 4000, it's a more granular firewall, but then you can also have rule records that are controlled by hardware contacts. So those green connectors that we saw on the top of the mGuard can actually be configured through the web-based management to change the firewall rules based off if the contact is closed or not. And then there's advanced rules like ICMP packet drop / accept, or those that allows TCP keep alive packets without TCP flags. Excuse me, because I'm having a hard time talking right now. Some of the other main differences between the two families are that the 2K family, 2000 family, only comes with 2 VPN tunnels if you get the VPN variant. This is actually not upgradable for the 2000 series, and no extra licenses can be purchased and installed on the 2000 series either. And then there's also that user firewall feature that we talked about earlier. This is not available for the 2K family. For the 4000 series family, it comes initially out of the box with 10 VPN tunnels, which is actually upgradable to 250 VPN. This would be typically used in a hub and spoke application. In addition to that license that you can purchase that separately to increase the number of VPNs, you can use extra licenses such as the CIFS integrity monitoring I mentioned earlier, and then the OPC deep packet inspection as well. There's more too, such as the license that allows you to do redundant VPN configuration. So in the event that something happens on one of your mGuards, you have 2 sitting in parallel. Maybe mGuard 1 goes down for some reason, the power supply fails. You have an mGuard sitting parallel to it, and that VPN with basically the same configuration then kicks off of standby mode into the driver position. Focusing more back on the hardware itself, you can see there's 4 different remote contacts, and on the right hand side of the screen you'll see information like the MAC address, and there's actually a pinout showing what those contacts are tied to. So the upper left one is tied to the power, and this is actually a dual power input for the RS4000, the 4000 series. And then there's LEDs that are provided as indication on the front of that to show you if you're getting power from power supply 1 or 2 if you have that set up. And then hardware alarm to monitor VPN or firewall rule status. Then you have the info LED to help monitor the VPN as well out of the box. You have push button initiation ability to tie that to one of the remote contacts to act as a start-stop VPN as we discussed. And then the push button initiation to enable and disable set of firewall rules. This is kind of a conditional firewall, so you can tie this directly into those contacts there. Moving right along, you'll notice that this is the first different form factor that we've seen. It's a wider housing style, and this comes with or without the VPN licenses, just like the other 6 that we talked about. It's got a memory module on the front for easy configuration swap. In addition to that, you're going to notice that there are 4 ports on the front of it. These are actually combo ports, so you have the option of using the 2 RJ45 ports or the SFP ports as well. We have the flexibility to handle single mode, multi-mode, and long haul fiber. And that being said, this is gigabit capable and has SFP for fiber use. This is essentially great for video over VPN and a couple other things. And worth noting before we move on, works with Phoenix Contact SFP modules or small form factor pluggable modules or third-party SFPs as well. So where could this be used and why is this possibly chosen over the other that we saw? Well, maybe you need fiber because you need to run something longer than 100 meters. Well, Ethernet doesn't go longer than 100 meters, so you're going to have to go fiber route. That's why this comes into play. In addition, maybe there's too much junk going on in the surrounding area and too noisy for copper, even with the best shielding cable. So one good thing about fiber, it doesn't care about noise, it doesn't worry about it, so fiber is good in these applications as well. And then maybe you just need high bandwidth, something like video over VPN, or you want to fit it into an IT network where fiber and gigabit speeds are the norm. So this provides smooth transition in those scenarios. And then we have the PCI variant. This is typically used in industrial PCs or robots or other types of equipment that have PCI slots. This isn't going to require any additional DIN rail space, so that's nice. And in addition to that, it's actually one of the only devices in the market with firewall routing and a VPN applications in the PCI format. Independent of the operating system, so you're not going to need a different power supply tied to this. It pulls power directly from the PCI. This is a little bit more modest operating temperature range. You actually see it's a little bit higher. 0 to 70 degrees Celsius operating temperature doesn't go quite to the negative 20 degrees Celsius that was in the other form factors. And again, this is the great synergy with Phoenix Contact IPC's value line. That's one of the product lines for the industrial PCs that Phoenix Contact offers. Then we have the FL mGuard Smart 2. Again, this comes with the VPN or without the VPN license. 2 separate part numbers. This is kind of the more commercial variant, actually very popular in the medical industry. Typically used laptop or desktop use. It's great for the road warriors and the field application engineers or tech support that need a way to connect to another mGuard in the field through a point-to-point connection or through the secure cloud. Also, this gets its power supply not through typical 24-volt DC power supply you find in a cabinet, but instead through that USB interface that you see there. Now here we have the Delta TX. TX is the wired Delta. This is actually more of a SOHO as opposed to industrial application. All right, there I am dropping more acronyms because I'm getting a little bit brainwashed. SOHO is small office, home office. So this is not going to be DC power. It's going to have a power supply right there with it. It just takes 100 to 240 volts AC. A lot more modest operating temperature range of 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. This is actually typically used for technicians and mGuard Secure Cloud users that are only allowed to connect to or troubleshoot from the office. Our last piece of hardware we're going to talk about today is the mGuard Center port. You'll notice right away that this is something that's meant to live in the IT room in a climate-controlled environment where it supports up to 3,000 VPN tunnels with this has high bandwidth capacity, data center infrastructure, 19-inch rack mount. Ideal for customers working with their IT department to deploy their own VPN solution on a large scale. Typically best suited for bigger and more qualified opportunities. So I said that was our last piece of hardware. This is one piece of software that we need to highlight, as this has a part number and purchasable. This is used to typically used to connect to the secure cloud or in point-to-point applications. The software supports IPsec VPN. This is able to be used and installed on desktops or or even tablet PCs that run Windows operating systems 10, 8, 7, and Vista. This uses TCP encapsulation, Pathfinder as we call it. And again, this is a paid-for option that we have. If you have a Apple device or something that runs the Apple iOS, there's a free built-in VPN client within those devices. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can download your configuration from the Secure Cloud and connect that way free of charge. So, secure remote connectivity. There's many challenges involved with this. People are always looking for the best way to support their machines if you're an OEM or machine builder. Obviously, we discussed the benefits of doing this remotely and securely without travels. It needs to be secure because you don't want other junk getting in there with the threats of different cybersecurity attacks. And maybe you don't have the time or knowledge to support a solution on your own. It's not a trivial task to set up a VPN with the certificates and all the handshaking that's involved. It gets confusing pretty quick. It's hard to deal with IT departments sometimes and customers and help sell them on something that's secure because, as we know, and as they should be, IT departments are always skeptical. And there's changes that you need to do in your own network that you can't control. So how do we provide something like that gives us some secure remote connectivity? So this is where we leverage the mGuard Secure Cloud. Maybe your tunnels don't need to be point to point, so we have the perfect solution for you. That's where the mGuard Secure Cloud comes in. We want you to leverage the power of the cloud that we have hosted. This is really good to maximize flexibility, and it's also easily scalable as well. In this case, Phoenix Contact is acting as your IT department for your VPN needs, meaning you don't need to worry about the creating and exchanging of certificates and CAs. This is all hosted here in-house at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in our internal data center, which is actually going to be moved to Amazon Web Services here soon in 2019. Setup itself, we'll go through that a little bit, but it takes place in a few easy steps online. All you have to do is do a couple steps for registration, and then we have VPN builders that provide automatic configurations for your client and the mGuard device that you have installed on the machine. The whole point of this is to say access to your industrial equipment does not have to be difficult, insecure, or expensive. You can get started at us.cloud.mguard.com. So just kind of give you a little bit of overview for the Secure Cloud architecture. What you need to connect to the Secure Cloud on the right side is a service technician, and this is in most cases a laptop or a desktop that has the mGuard Secure Virtual, the VPN client installed, maybe, or you could have a Smart or Delta, something that enables you to connect to the Secure Cloud, and then through the cloud you connect to your machine. And on this machine, you typically have just an industrial DIN rail mounted mGuard installed in the cabinet that has internet access. So how do you sign up for the mGuard Secure Cloud? How do you get started? First and foremost, customer needs to sign up for an account at us.cloud.mguard.com. This is only done once for the whole company. Then that person is given the master administration rights, and they can create users as they want and allow it and change those users, enable those users to have access to specific IP addresses or machines or product lines, you name it. And then you request VPN configurations for the techs. This is for this either the mGuard Secure VPN client as shown there, or the mGuard VPN clients like the Smart or the Delta. Then after that, you have to request VPN configurations for the mGuard, the devices, the hardware installed in the industrial control cabinet. You need to provide some IP address information, hardware information, and then you can take the configuration it gets you, load it on a SD card or through the web page to the mGuard. And once you install that and you have that connected to the cloud, you can sign into the account at us.cloud.mguard.com. and you'll see a screen not too different than this. It has since been updated, so it actually looks a little bit nicer. But you go ahead and you choose the machine that you want that's online. Click Start. You'll notice at up at the top left where it says Service, that's green. The machine will go green and the routing will go green, kind of indicating that the tunnel's been established, and you can actually navigate the control system as if you're on the local area network itself. Very handy. So just to reiterate what a customer needs to use the mGuard Secure Cloud, well, on the service technician side, as we call it, you need to sign up. Obviously, you need to sign up for the cloud. It's only done once per company. And I don't know if I mentioned this, I probably forgot. It is a free service. The mGuard Secure VPN client itself is not free, but the service of the cloud is free. And by this, you don't need to worry about how many devices you connect or how many users or technicians you have on your account. Doesn't matter. It's free. All you have to do is pay for the hardware and that one piece of software for the secure VPN client for each person or technician. You don't have to worry about recruiting service costs. It's one thing that we really like to leverage and show. There's no catch to it. It's a great service, something to be taken advantage of. And then obviously there's still the Smart 2 and the PCI or the Delta or other mGuard hardware too that you can use to connect from the service side. Okay, so remind me again what the machine needs to connect to the secure cloud. Well, as simple as that. All you need is mGuard hardware. We went over the 2000 and 4000, the GT VPN. Obviously, these need to be VPN variants. The 2005, the 4004. I'm just saying numbers at this point, but all the mGuard hardware that we went over, as long as it's a VPN variant, you're good to go. Okay, it sounds great. It doesn't sound that simple, but maybe we need to just go over this one more time. Is it actually simple? And just remember that the mGuard Secure Cloud remedies the complex task of managing a remote service solution. You don't have to worry about going through the trouble and the hassles of getting a trusted CA, assigning authority, and creating and exchanging certificates. This is done for you. All you have to do is do a little bit of online setup with a couple steps. And if you are running into areas, don't forget that Phoenix Contact has a lot of resources and technical support that's absolutely free as well, that's standing by and will be happy to help you if you're having any issues. Hardware configuration is provided automatically through setup, through the online registration, and it is pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Again, we have an excellent support team and a lot of local sales engineers willing and happy to help. Okay, is it actually secure? Well, the mGuard Secure Cloud forms a powerful infrastructure in our cloud, securely interconnecting service staff with machines and plants via the internet. You might be concerned when we say via the internet, but the mGuard VPN technology does use IPsec security protocol with AES 256-bit encryption, meaning when information leaves your laptop as a service technician, it's encrypted all the way through the internet, going to the mGuard, and doesn't become decrypted until it hits that WAN of the mGuard. In addition to that, the mGuard guarantees the confidentiality, authenticity, and integrity of all data transmitted through the cloud. Okay, I mentioned the point-to-point versus cloud earlier. Which one is right for me? In point-to-point applications or hub and spoke, you want to manage a VPN solution. You probably have an IT department that's involved and on board with the solution, and they have the technical knowledge to make this happen. This is done in machine-to-machine applications where maybe a PLC at a remote location is sending information to maybe another PLC or master at a different location. This is a scenario where the VPN connection needs to be on at all times for constant monitoring of the situation. Whereas the cloud services that we offer is more intended to those that don't want to or don't care who manages the VPN service. This is done by us. Maybe your IT department has been a roadblock for control engineers applications, and maybe you don't have a technical engineer on board who can take care of the solution or doesn't have the time to take care of the solution. That's where we come in with the secure cloud. This is done in tech-to-machine applications where you have a machine communicating, a technician communicating to a machine for troubleshooting or making changes on the fly. This is a VPN connection that's used as needed, and then it's disconnected after troubleshooting is done and changes are done. So, in summary, the mGuard technology is both commercial and industrial, heavily weighed toward the industrial side, where it's supposed to be living in industrial applications in a control cabinet. It also serves as a VPN client as well, and has firewall and routing capabilities. Whereas the secure cloud, mGuard Secure Cloud, is something that we provide to make it work for you. It's all we need is some basic information, IP addresses, and we can get you up and running. It's a free VPN service. Just the mGuard hardware is needed, and the software in the case of the mGuard Secure VPN client. Phoenix Contact offers a lot of resources to help get you through setup, and this includes a couple of the splash pages like the phoenixcontact.com/mguard or /MSC for mGuard Secure Cloud. We have a lot of different literature available on the internet, not just on our website, but if you can punch it in Google and you'll find something. We have different white pages available to help you understand how NERC SIP compliances are met with Phoenix Contact mGuard, and then other technical documentation as well if you reach out to tech support. And then the Phoenix Contact USA YouTube channel is available as well. Thank you for all your time listening today. My name is Zach Vinsky, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm a current technical sales apprentice here at Phoenix Contact. I've been spending a little bit of time supporting mGuard product heavily the last few months. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My information is provided there. In addition to that, our lead product marketing specialist for mGuard, Miriam, her information is there too. She'd be happy to assist you. And always valuable customer service, technical service, and automation 24/7 hotline are available to take calls and help you right away and help get you up and running if you're having issues setting something up or just have questions on some of our other products as well. So on behalf of Cochrane Supply, I want to thank you for taking the time to participate in this WebEx. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to our trusted partner and your local Cochrane Supply. They are very willing to help. Great sources of information for not only the mGuard or some Phoenix's Contacts products, but also a lot of things, even including in building automation. Thanks again. Hope you've enjoyed it.